The Humpty Dance is your chance to do the hump.
Do the Humpty Hump. Oh.
Shut up and sit down.
Believe in yourself because you came all the way to here. That means you must have some talent. You must have some potential. Just don't throw it away by just giving up.
I let go of the handlebars, let go of the handles. I let go of the handlebars, letting go of the handles. Yeah, I can't keep my hands off you or off my bicycle.
I've told you once and I'll tell you again. Shut up, legs. I'd love to say that to Matt Lee Grand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von Turing as well, but I'd probably get canned from this gig. Nevertheless, enjoy the Dialed podcast.
Yep.
Yes, showing up and participating is important. Trying your best is important, but neither deserves a trophy. If you want one of those, go win some.
Do I look too cool? Do I look too cool? On my bicycle, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm sorry,
You ate all the waffles?
Yes, I did.
Could have asked us if we wanted any.
Nuh-uh, if I give you the waffles, I won't get any.
Link, would you like a waffle?
There is no more waffles. I have them all.
Why, yes, Red. I think I would like 2 waffles.
You can't, you want 2 of them? I just don't know why you guys get all the waffles. You guys are being selfish.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I am Jake Von Turing. I'm here with Lance friggin' Hepler.
Lance friggin' Hepler, right back here in studio. Please don't make me talk about triathlon or running today.
So that's
it's been so much triathlon.
We are definitely talking about that.
Oh man, dang it.
Ruh-roh.
You came to the wrong triathlon
I came
podcast.
to the wrong triathlon.
Oh, that voice you hear right there, that's Mr. Matt LeGrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys look fan-frickin-tastic.
Fan-frickin-tastic.
Nice. And then I think Evan's on his way. I think we just got a little ping. I think that was
He just
that's what he said. He said he's on his way.
So he'll jump in here when he gets here. So
that'll work.
Evan's out saving the world, doing things, doing triathlon-y things probably. Anyway, let's do a little bit of backpedaling. I'm going to go with Matt first because Matt didn't race, and I didn't race. So you and I'll be quick, and then we'll kick it over to Hep.
I've swam a couple times, just general swimming stuff. I've been biking a lot with the cross-country kids. This sounds like a broken record. This is exactly. I've done like 0 real riding. I rode 10 miles on Saturday on the mountain bike, like with pacing a runner. And that was
question for you. Since the weather's kind of cooled off a little bit, it's still August here. I don't know why it feels like August, but has the temperature changed your braking on your mountain bike? I've been meaning to ask you that question. I know that was like
it seems like it's not braking well. And I need to get it. I need to bring it in.
Okay, bring that in.
It's just not, something that's just not right about it. And it could be the weather, but I just think it's off.
Yeah, I got some ideas. We'll talk later.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm interested in your ideas.
All right. Anything else?
A lot of cross country. I mean, this is the thick of the season. It's
how much longer do you have?
Well, okay, so we switched down to just varsity here at the end of this week. So this coming Saturday is our last JV race. And so then we go from having 90 kids down to 14. So
that's pretty easy.
It's bigger.
Yeah.
And then state meet is November 4th.
So you got about a month.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
My backpedal real quick was not exciting. It was kind of like a rinse and repeat of last week. I had to take a bunch of days off trying to let this injury thing heal up, and did get out for a ride with Lance on Saturday.
Yes.
We did a 2.5 hour like easy mountain, or not mountain, but a gravel bike ride. Yeah. And that felt okay, still problematic. Didn't feel good yesterday. And then I was telling Lance earlier, like I had this like moment where I was trying to just stretch it out a little bit. I feel like an old man walking around with a hitch in my get up, and it's something's binding up in there. And all of a sudden I had this like pop. I'm like, oh, wait a second. And I liken it to like, when your ears plugged up for like 3 days and then it pops and all of a sudden you can hear everything. It's like I had that little pop in my hip.
In your hip.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I think I have a little bit of an impingement going on there that would stem from this quad strain that I had, and it's just from me being an idiot. So
it was just the cobwebs blowing out in your hip.
Maybe. Yeah. So anyway, long story short, I think I'm getting closer to finding some sort of resolve here, and I've got some things that I've been doing, and I think it might be helping, and we'll see. So that was my fun and exciting and very boring week. Hepler, you raced your bike. What's up?
I did race my bike, but also on top of racing my bike, I did a ton of fantastic rides over the last couple weeks. I know
we have missed you.
Yeah. I'd just been out partying. If you ever get a chance, I know we kind of briefly talked about this, but I did that Thunder Mountain ride again near Bryce National Park.
The Mountain Dew drink, right?
Yes.
Thunder
Mountain. It is very cool. I also did like a road ride again around Bryce National Park, and then went to St. George with my buddy Steve and rode Gooseberry Mesa, which is also world famous like mountain bike ride.
Are these hard courses or easy?
No, they are not easy.
Like I could handle it? Oh, no. I could not handle it. Gotcha.
Parts of Thunder Mountain has a lot of smooth, flowy stuff, but with exposure. So,
like you're going to be exposed to falling off a mountain?
Correct.
That's not good for me.
That's what exposure means. Not
when I think of exposure,
pants again.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, oh, Matt's biking naked again. That's how that goes. All right.
But it is pretty fun. Gooseberry Mesa is like normal desert type mountain biking on like slick rock type stuff.
Okay.
So lots of like ledge hops and difficult like. There's a trail on Gooseberry Mesa.
Zero chance.
That is like fantastic, but it is like double black diamond difficult. Like I walked lots of stuff because it was just
nope.
Yeah, I couldn't. I either didn't want to go down it or I couldn't. I knew if I went to try to go up it, I would stall out and like.
You also did just like a guy's weekend or something, right?
Yeah, I went to Lake Powell with a bunch of my college buddies and spent a couple days on a houseboat, not biking at all, just hanging out in the gorgeous weather and doing some wake surfing behind his wake boat.
That sounds awesome.
It was great. I had a good time.
Lance has had an interesting last 3 months, maybe. Broken ribs and like tearing down buildings and
like I'm still
Are you still tearing
down?
down
I'm in my work boots because I was doing stuff this morning.
And
how's that going?
He's had like minor back issues that like led up to all this stuff, and he's like okay through that, but he's doing all this crazy stuff and wake surfing now. And
I wonder why you're having back problems.
But
I know what will help your back problems: wakeboarding, sledgehammering some stuff, and mountain biking.
But he came out
demolition.
He's come out the backside of this with no back injuries, so
it's crazy.
It's quite surprising that my back has not just folded on me. I fully expected it to
Did your new rabbit's foot show up? Did Amazon send that finally?
I don't know. I'm hoping that I can actually train through the winter this year and be fit enough to like actually be competitive next year. But also, is that really important? It's not. I realize that.
No,
but
but when you're in that zone, it is.
Yeah, when you're in that zone, it's all
being
you
healthy
think about.
is being happy or is part of being happy for you.
Yeah,
and that is important.
Well, it's like for me to take like 10 days off and go out with my buddies right in the middle of cyclocross season, I would not have done that last year.
Right.
And this year I was like,
well,
yeah, let's go. Forget it. That's why
you had a blast. It looked
I
like.
had a blast.
I'm judging 100% from Instagram, which, it seems like everyone's having fun but me. Everyone's having fun. Someone's at home working.
Oh, but I had an absolute riot. I had a great time. Rode my mountain bike almost every day, just on fun stuff. I took all my bikes with me. I even had a cyclocross bike with me in case I did a race in Utah.
Okay.
But I
3 bikes or
didn't.
4?
I had 4.
You had gravel. Okay.
I had my gravel bike, my road bike.
Mountain.
That's why Brandy didn't go, because Lance didn't have room for.
Yeah, I didn't have room for her. Yeah.
Yeah. She was like all packing up, and you're like, sorry, honey.
Sorry, honey.
I don't have room for you.
It's all taken.
I had to choose between you and the gravel bike. It wasn't that hard of a choice.
It wasn't. Yeah, I'm a dead man.
Yeah, she doesn't listen to the podcast. We're fine.
You're right. Exactly.
We're good.
But I came back in time to do the first cyclocross crusade race at Rainier High School. That is normally a race that's later in the year, but there was homecoming. There was a conflict with homecoming, so this race ended up earlier early this year. Cyclocross crusade.
We have cross country kids, then they're like, "Can we miss by districts race to go to homecoming stuff?" And I'm like, "You're varsity. We do it."
No.
I'm like,
I'm sorry. You made a commitment.
They don't care about running at all.
Right. No, of course not. They don't want to miss their homecoming experience in high school.
What have I done wrong? Okay, because clearly it's a lot.
You're not inspiring young minds.
We want to go to the football game, and we have a race the next day that's like up in Seattle, and we're like, you can't.
doesn't work that
And then
way.
the dance is like I don't know. Oh, homecoming, man.
Can't one of you guys drive all night long? We'll just sleep in the school van.
Yeah, they're like, we'll drive ourselves after.
Yeah,
we'll drive ourselves
that's
after the
exactly
football
what
game.
a teenager would say.
Yeah.
I may have done that a time or two.
Yep.
When I was in college, there was a few races. There was a few track meets that I did not take the team bus because the snow was good. The snow was good. And my coach is like, hey, why aren't you coming on the team bus? I'm like, I'm going to drive myself to this meet. He's like, what? Why are you driving yourself to the meet? And I'm like, well, the snow's good, and I'm going skiing after. He's like, you can't do that. And I'm like, I'm not on scholarship.
Yeah.
You want to put me on scholarship? I'll quit skiing.
Yeah.
But I'm not on scholarship yet, so I'll drive myself to the meet. He was like, okay.
Yeah.
It didn't. I finally got a partial scholarship, but it didn't really.
How did that affect your ski season?
It also didn't affect me because when they said, "Hey, Lance, you're now on partial scholarship, so I don't want you skiing anymore." I'm not on full scholarship.
There's always something.
There's always something. Okay, sorry. I get distracted.
Yeah, that's my fault. Distraction.
So the first race of the Cyclocross Crusade series start. The Cyclocross Crusade is one of the largest, traditionally, and most storied cyclocross series in the United States. It rivals some of the big race series in the northeast of the United States. So it's a really big deal. Our team has won the team competition the last 2 years in a row. But we had this first race at Rainier High School. It was 87 degrees on race
What is going on with the
day.
weather?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It was.
I'm just like knocking on
October's
wood.
the new August, man.
I'm kind of loving it. I'm just kind of upset that I'm not biking more because like this is perfect bike weather.
Yeah, it is. Biking's been great.
Yeah, it's a late fire season, I guess.
Right? Yeah, we do have a fire going on close by. Regardless, the race did happen. It was not as well attended as we hoped. There were 400 or 500 racers.
There's usually like north of 1,000, right?
There's usually in the thousands or more than.
Well, in its
1,000.
heydays, it was in its thousands, and like
Correct.
recently, it's been more of like 1,000.
Yes,
right. Yeah.
That's correct. And so, but still, it was a great race. A lot of people showed up, had a great time.
Why would you suspect that not that many people showed up to that race? Is it because it was 40 minutes north of Portland and
Correct.
Washington?
Yes.
People just don't like to cross the bridge?
That's correct. And traditionally, this race starts at Alpenrose Dairy, which we have lost. The dairy has been sold, and the velodrome that is there is no longer a thing. It has been torn down or is in the process of being torn down. I cannot
So it's like new location.
New location, and usually the first race in the series
marks.
is a USAC race where you can get points.
Okay.
So which would attract people regionally that are trying to get call-up points for nationals. This was not that. Plus, it wasn't right in town. And plus, cyclocross has waned a little bit in the pandemic, just like all racing has. All bike racing has waned during the pandemic a little
Except
bit.
for gravel.
Except for gravel. That's a good point.
But there could be some like gravel race somewhere.
Do you think a lot of people maybe did jump into the gravel scene, and this time of year they're just like, I'm kind of tired?
That's possible. That's possible. If I think about teammates that have normally raced, and no, we still have the same people that are showing up.
I can think of a couple people, but there's a few that are injured. There's a few that are maybe just taking a season off because of like getting beaten, battered, and bruised from other things, and they just don't want to put their bodies through that right now. So
it was exciting for me because I didn't get to do a single Cross Crusade race last year. I broke myself before the Cross Crusade series started. So it was exciting to go. I raced in the 50-plus field. There were 50 people in the 50-plus field. Normally it's a field of 100.
Sure.
But there was 50 people in it, and I think I placed a whopping 17th.
Did you have fun?
I had a blast.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
I had a great time. So I no complaints. The course was very hard, but super dry, almost a 2-mile lap, which was quite
when you say
long.
super hard, are we talking about like difficulty, or we're talking about like hard packed?
Hard packed.
Okay.
And roughly 250 feet of climbing per lap. So like my 40-minute race had 1,300 feet of climbing.
Oh my
You're
gosh.
a climber.
Yeah, I got the climber's body on this.
You're on it. You nailed it.
I wasn't there, but I think I saw a video with some uphill barriers.
Yes, the only set of barriers were uphill, so not hoppable.
Not ideal.
You are getting off your bike.
Yes, you are getting off your bike.
I'm guessing nobody even attempted.
I don't think so. No, it wasn't.
Paul, what happened?
I was going to say Paul would have probably.
And they were big and close too, so it wasn't even like an option. But yeah, great time. Tons of people there. Had all their team tents up. Lots of team tents. It was exciting to be there. Some teammates did well in raced. Well, it was fun to be there.
Cool.
So that was it. So yeah, now I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Hey Matt, our intro and your back pedal, my back pedal, 4 minutes. Lance's 11 minutes.
I got more raced rides.
We're just getting started.
We're just hear about the other rides I did? Yeah.
We're just getting warmed up.
What else you got, Hepler?
I saw a moose on a ride.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I've done this, like gone on a long run and like run into like a herd of moose, and I'm like, holy crap. So I'm just this kid from Alabama, right? First of all, we don't believe mooses exist.
There's no mooses.
And moose eye, I think people say. That's proper pronunciation. But here's the thing. They are effing massive.
I
think some of them. Maybe this was like northern Arizona where I remember like being like, oh my gosh. I just thought that they were like the size of deer.
No, they're not.
No.
They're like 3 times the size of deer. They're bigger
It's like
than
if a
elk.
Giraffe had a baby with like a, I don't know, like a cow or something. I don't know. They're just huge.
With a satellite antenna on its head.
Exactly.
That must have been scary.
I was in Powder Mountain, Utah, near Ogden, Utah, and we were riding mountain bikes, and all of a sudden a moose ran across the field, like right next to us. You could hear it. I think it was in the rut because it was like, it was huffing.
Huh.
The moose was huffing. We heard it before we saw it, which is also scary. So
crazy.
I think I would be scared. I was scared when I saw like a pack of them or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to see more than one together. You sure they weren't elk?
They're
Do you even know
elk.
the difference between an elk and a moose?
They're the same, actually. If you're from Alabama,
it's all the same.
It's all the same. It might have been elk, actually.
What's the wildlife situation in Alabama? It's armadillos. No, that's Texas. That's Oklahoma and Texas.
We probably have them as well. Some spots. I did this race called the Roadkill Road Run one time. I think that was in Tennessee. I'm not sure, but it was like the award that you get for winning the race is an armadillo upside down, like just dead. It's awesome. It's like my favorite award that I have. But yeah, we have, like people don't believe me when I say this. We have wild mountain goats where I used to run in the mountains, northern Alabama mountains. It's basically like the end of the Appalachian mountain area or whatever. And they stink. Like you can smell them before you see them. You smell them for miles. It's crazy.
A herd of moose? Moose.
Herd of
it's
moose
just
is moose.
Mm-hmm. Look at the moose, not
moose eye.
Moose eye.
It's like deer.
Mises.
Yeah.
So there are herds of moose, or does that not exist?
No, it exists. So if you
Lance, you should trust the guy from Alabama who knows all about moose eye.
You know about the moose eye.
Oh, it's podcast. People came here for the right, right knowledge. I'm glad you're okay. That the moose didn't kill you.
Didn't kill me.
Oh man, I'm scared of all that stuff. Nature scares me.
I saw a herd of elk in Bryce National Park too, but they were far enough away that I felt safe-ish.
Okay.
I think those things are pretty scared of you. They're kind of fidgety. Yeah.
Not the moose, man. They'll freaking take you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that okay? So there's a law in like Alaska somewhere, and it's like you're not allowed to spit when there's a moose around. Like that's like a law. Like this is like what you read about like weird laws across the United States. Like this is one of them, and I think it's because like they get angry or something. I don't know.
Right.
I feel like I need to look this up. It's podcast material.
I don't know. All right, that's enough backpedaling for me. Do you want to hear more stories?
Or should we
from
talk more
mountain
about moose and spitting?
As long as it's not triathlon, let's talk about it.
We do need to talk about triathlon.
Oh crap! What do you want to do, Jake?
We could have, I don't know. We could do news.
Well,
is there any race news?
Oh yeah.
Some good race news.
I mean, no, nothing happened.
We're ready.
Champ Bailey, top 5.
Champ Bailey, is he in here?
Yeah,
Is he around?
We're doing lead out news today with
Champ Bailey is back. The biggest thing.
Where you been, Champ?
Back in house.
I've been moosing.
Moose hunting.
The biggest thing that happened.
Moose talk.
This has been Moose Talk.
We missed my rock talk. I had all sorts of things to talk about with rocks.
I actually do want to hear. Did you collect anything good?
I got a bunch of agates from Gooseberry Mesa. I did.
Is that what's your best rock that you snagged? Is there one that you're pretty pumped about?
It's like a white clear agate. Like you can clearly see through.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna have to see that one sometime.
I did a 2.5 hour mountain bike ride on Gooseberry Mesa where my moving time was 2.5 hours, but my lapse time was 6 hours.
Well, that's a long day. Did you have enough water and stuff?
No.
You were thirsty at the end.
Because I was with my buddy who I was waiting for. So I'd ride over something difficult and find like an area of all these cool rocks, and then I just stop and was like looking for rocks the whole time. If you look at my Strava, there's a video of me where I got back from my ride. I had like a full pocket of rocks.
Why is everybody calling me?
Please stop talking about rocks.
So you didn't have you need a backpack or something.
I should have had a backpack. Instead I had
Especially
a pocket.
for 6 hours. You should have like a
pocket
camel.
full of rocks and a bunch of chunks of petrified wood. Okay, wait. Weren't we talking
Rock
about
talk.
Okay, rock talk.
We have totally different.
Rock talk.
I love rock talk. I love rock talk. All right, we were talking about any news.
Okay, yeah.
Any news.
The biggest thing that happened in the world of cycling is Felipe Gana broke the hour record.
We're not going to talk about triathlon? The biggest thing?
Nothing happened.
All right, go. Hour record. Tell me about it.
Okay, Felipe Gana, where was he? In Italy somewhere?
Sure.
I think it was in Italy. Ineos actually sponsored the whole thing, so they were legit. And in an hour, he rode 35.3 miles in 1 hour. He averaged over 35 miles an hour.
That's so ridiculous.
For an hour.
For an hour.
Tell me about this bicycle he was on.
Apparently, Ineos had a custom-built bike that was 3D printed that cost roughly $50,000 to make. He had a 3D printed bike.
Does it have specs on it? What was the group set that he was running? I mean,
no idea. I don't know any of the specs for any of
let me
that.
see if I
Evan
can
will
look
know.
that up.
We need Evan here. We need Evan to show up right now and wear maybe like a swim bike run shirt so we can talk about triathlon.
Oh, I've been here the whole time. He's
here.
Super quiet over here. I was just eating my chicken Caesar wrap over here.
I thought we were going to get through this without talking about running or triathlon.
Your chances of that happening are over.
So we're just going to
failed.
Kona recap for the next 20 minutes, right? And then I can eat.
Well,
did either of you actually watch the Kona recap?
they both did. They were glued to the tape. They
Really?
watched better than we did.
Did you
Actually,
watch a decent
I
amount of it?
had the women's race up for a little while
Yeah.
because I was home and I just flicked it on while I was doing other stuff.
Because there's
But
nothing
Saturday I was
better
busy.
than to watch an Ironman. I mean, it's the most engaging 8 hours.
It's the worst frigging spectator sport
Oh,
there
yeah, it's
is.
terrible.
It is so bad.
The only thing that can make it worse is if they spread it out and did it in 2 days instead of one,
It was
which
2
they did.
days, which they did. There's like 90 seconds of drama in a triathlon, and it happens when somebody gets passed or somebody crosses the finish line. That's about it. So anyway, don't get me started on.
But the men's race was exciting.
I thought both races were great.
Yes.
Okay, before we get to
women's
the
race was great.
The
too.
men's race
Cigar
was more
story is
exciting.
amazing.
Evan, eat your chicken Caesar wrap.
Okay.
We
Into the microphone.
into the microphone, whatever is gonna make Jake.
Are you
happy.
talking? I just watched the entire.
Easy.
Speaking of maybe the only more boring thing than Iron Man, I did watch Ghana's hour record too while I was
I
on the
didn't
bike.
watch a minute of it.
It was so engaging. I was able to do an entire hour-long coaching call during it, and I don't feel like I missed much.
Didn't
Because
miss
at the hour,
anything.
guess what? He was still riding his bicycle.
He
at
was
the
still
end.
going.
Yeah, that's the
fast.
thing. Those hour records are boring to watch, but they're
But I still watch
amazing.
them. I still watch them. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's just.
Felipe Gana said, "I'm never doing that again." Afterwards,
Yeah. Does
He said
anybody
it.
ever get to the end of that? Like, man,
No.
I think I'm going to give it another shot.
I think I feel good. That was so much fun. I'm gonna go again.
He looked the best of anybody I've ever seen finishing it, though. which is a very low bar. Like, I mean, that's
Okay,
like
well,
he
that
was still
means,
capable of
Evan,
riding his bicycle.
That means you've watched other hour records. I've never watched like 5 seconds of an hour
I've actually
record.
watched
I've
each
watched them
attempt over the
too.
last like 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Remember Lionel Sanders did one?
Yeah, Lionel
he did
did
great.
I know, but then you get to see Filippo, and you're like, oh, that's what like the best ever looks like. I mean,
Yeah.
he beat Chris Boardman's
Unless,
Superman.
if you know this, don't say anything. But any guesses as to how big of a chain ring he ran?
Oh, I do know this.
I don't know.
62,
More.
nope, more than 62, 64.
64.
Wow.
64 tooth
What?
chain
I
ring.
thought it was a
64.
66.
Says right here
It
with a
says
64 tooth
What was his
chain
back? What was
It
his?
was 14. I thought he was doing. He was riding a
64,
66-14 because if you do the 14, the chain is straight.
Right.
It's
Okay.
not down all the way on like the 10 or on the 11. If you do, the
Did we
14,
have any
it's
numbers
straight.
on his wattage? Was he riding a power meter? Was there no power meter?
I'm
I mean,
they don't
obviously,
have sure, maybe.
he's not looking at his power meter
Well,
during that.
they
I
can
know.
put that rear one wherever they want it because
Yeah.
it's just the one gear.
True. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had the 64-14
because it
combo.
had to be like high fours, almost 500 for the. I mean, he was probably like 40, 490 because I think 460 was what Wigo did. I think, and God had to have been more,
That's crazy.
which is just bonkers.
Yeah, that's
So fast.
That's
They're different size athletes.
35 miles an hour.
It's crazy.
35.3.
3. Yeah, don't leave out that point 3.
I'm not going to because that's
35.3
more impressive
miles
than
an hour.
35. That's insane.
That's
I know.
insane.
I like of all the records in the world, Kipchoge's marathon record is one that just
Yeah.
like mind boggles me, and then this one is. I mean, they're like 1-2 to me.
I do a full sprint, and if I crack 32 miles an hour, I'm super happy.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, but wait, let me just hold 35 miles an hour for an
Imagine
hour.
That wattage in the aero tuck, because I mean, like we've all like. I mean, Lance has ridden, like, in that aggressive of an aero tuck, your watts are going to be like 20, 30, 40 watts less just because it's not a comfortable position.
You're just trying not to crash.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, just
That's
try
the
to
other
be-
thing is like you're going so fast around that track. It's got to be awkward.
A 35 mile an hour crash is a very, very serious crash. That's a fast crash.
It does have to be awkward. You have to know how to ride a
Yeah,
velodrome.
exactly.
There is technique and a way to ride a velodrome so that you go fast.
You got to stay on the line. And I think it's one of those weird things where it's like when you're going 30 plus, it's nice to go straight. Those turns, man.
Yeah, but
they say he's
banked.
pulling 2
It's all
Gs.
banked.
He's
Yeah.
pulling 2 Gs each turn.
I mean, I guess you get used to it. It's just
I don't
ooh,
think my
I'm-
neck, I mean, let alone the actual watt requirements. I'm not sure if my neck could take an hour of 2 Gs every 8
crazy.
seconds.
All right, I'm moving on. Do you have anything else?
No, I'm just kind of reading through. It's talking about his clothing and his shoes and his helmet and all that other fun stuff, but they're not giving any specs on what his wattage numbers were.
We also had the last monument of the season, Il Lombardia, happened. Lots of people's last race, but big surprise. Guess who won Il Lombardia? Pogačar.
Pogačar again.
Outsprinted
Yep.
Enrique Mas. So Pogačar and Enrique Mas got away from everybody, and Pogačar just out-sprinted him. So kind of the two.
Do you think it's weird?
class
Do you think it's
act
weird
guys.
that he's still in good shape at this time of year?
I don't know. I mean, he took some time
Yeah,
off a
yeah.
little bit. He was like, his girlfriend races bikes,
Yep.
and he was following her around, and you know, I don't know that it's that weird. I mean, that's what those guys do. He's paid $5 million a year to be a bike racer.
He's worth it.
Yeah, you better be fast. So
Yeah, especially if you're the event promoter, and like if it's at the very end of the season, all of a sudden you don't have any of the big names, and if not the biggest name,
Right.
that would kind of suck too. So I don't know if there's any kind of a contractual agreement to be there.
Enrique Mas
I don't know.
also pretty fit towards the end of this year.
Yeah.
He's had
Yeah.
a really good finish
He's had a
here.
good season.
If he can hold it together, not get injured, because he's been up and down in the past.
Yep.
He's kind of a tumultuous character.
he's also been
What team does he ride for?
for Movie Star with
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Valverde,
Which is
who is
not
now
good.
retired.
Yeah.
So Valverde
He
is now
needs to leave
retired.
Movie Star, in my opinion.
So now he's going to be the guy at Movie Star and like the great Spanish hope, because he's in like now the last, well, I guess Ayuso, I think he's Spanish. I think there's a few others, but
Yeah, but he's the guy. now,
he's
in my
like the
opinion, in
guy
Spain. Yeah.
for Spain. So that could be interesting.
Where is dumb question? I can't believe I don't know this. Where's Miguel? Where's Superman right now? Miguel and Angel Lopez.
Oh, I just saw that. I don't know.
Okay, I need to find out where he, because I know that. And anybody who's been watching the Netflix documentary, do you guys watch the Least Expected Day, the Movie Star documentary
that was
on?
from
Netflix?
like 4 years ago.
They had a new season of this last year. This is their third season. But it's a really cool documentary. It's all in Spanish, so you do have to watch the subtitles.
Miguel Angel
Or learn
Lopez
Spanish.
did do the Gravel Worlds. He was on
Really?
the Gravel Worlds. We'll get to that.
He's crazy
But
fit.
it doesn't
he's also
say- he's from Colombia, though.
yeah. But but he was on Movie Star previously.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just wondering if where he's at right now, because he was really supposed to be like Movie Stars. Like, I mean, it was him and Enrique, and they were saying Miguel Angel Lopez was the better cyclist between the two at that time. I think that's changed. I'm pretty sure Enrique is stronger than he is now, but
Interesting. So yes, the Gravel Worlds happened.
Speaking of which,
kind of crazy. So this was held in Italy. None of the U.S. top 10 gravel pros went to it. It was not really. Would
you say it wasn't well attended, or
wasn't
what?
well attended by Americans? The American gravel scene is very different than the European gravel scene. It's still
their
like
own thing.
It's still like developing. Okay, so Europe has like Strade Bianche, and they have other gravel type races.
More of a technical road ride than it is a gravel race. Yeah.
Yes. And so the UCI put on their own thing, and what do you know? A ton of people, a ton of
pros.
World Tour pros showed up because it's still a rainbow jersey, and that attracted people. We had some Americans there, but I didn't recognize a single name that went from the Americans. But the top 9 people were all World Tour pros.
I'm kind of surprised, like, there's not like cyclocross, like, a mix of people that would come into that.
I think it's a little bit different.
Yeah, but it is. It's different engines. It's different bike handling.
But you would
at
think
the
that those
same
guys would
time,
want to jump in.
it's not like they're not
yeah.
in shape right now.
Oh yeah, I mean that's where the world Wout and MVP came from.
Yeah, I mean,
the winner, Gianni Vermeersch, Belgian.
Oh yeah.
He is, he won, and he actually has cyclocross background.
He does,
and he never won a cyclocross world championship because he was doing cyclocross the same time that Wout and Vanderpool.
That's where I recognize his name.
Yeah.
He was like always kind of in those chase groups,
correct?
But I mean, it was always a chase group because it's just going to be Wout. And
yes. So Vermeersch wins. He won by dropping Daniel Oss.
Daniel Oss, another big World Tour name.
God,
Daniel Oss would be so good at gravel. That guy's engine was just
right.
all
And they're
day.
just on bigger tires. They just don't crash in the gravel. Is basically what they were trying to do. The course, it was long, and they were still averaging like 50 kilometers an hour.
Of course they are, man. These guys are insane.
They're just ripping it.
Anybody who wants to sit there and be like, I don't know, I think the gravel's a really specific skill set. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they possess that very specific skill set still. These guys grew up racing stuff like that.
Third place was Matthew Vanderpool, who outsprinted Greg Van Avermaet. Yeah,
God,
it was all these World Tour guys.
This is why the Americans didn't come, is because, I mean, we all love like Dylan Johnson, but I'm sure Dylan Johnson looked at that start list and he's like, no, that's okay.
Yeah, I'll just prep for the last, Big Sugar Gravel,
I
last
don't want to
one.
get 50th.
Well, and
what kind of a payout was that?
I have no idea.
These guys that are doing the lifetime things.
The guys who are doing lifetime things, there was no incentive to go all the way to Italy to do a gravel race when the Big Sugar Gravel happens in like next week or the week after. So the last race in the Lifetime Grand Prix Fitness,
and they weren't going to win. Looking at that start list, I'd be like, no, there's no way I'm going to be competitive with Greg Van Avermaet and guys like that.
Magnus Cort. He was there.
There's another
who he had the yellow jersey at the Tour de France for a couple days.
Most aggressive rider for like five straight days. I think.
I mean, it attracted a bunch.
I think
of people.
Evan's point is spot on. Like, those guys know how to ride all kinds of surfaces. Their bike handling skills. It's not triathlon level, but it's pretty good.
There were a lot of people questioning though the technicality of the technical aspect of the World Championship route course, whatever you want to call it, versus like what some of the more traditional races are here in the United States.
Because there was a lot of road sections. It was road sections with gravel and single track sections. Some of the single track stuff was friggin' cool.
Well, and even think to like Lachlan. I mean, somebody like Lachlan who is
and none of those guys went.
Known as an elite single track rider, I think in the world. I mean, he still came from road for a long time. It's just those guys all grew up doing that stuff. Just the money's on the road, so they just go there.
He's just going to do adventure stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be his thing.
Lachlan's smart. He would look at that start list and be like, I've raced these guys on the World Tour. I know I have no business riding with them.
my question though is, and I didn't get a chance to see the course, and I was just kind of reading some stuff after the fact. If you take that course that they used and you hold that up against any of the, like, say, top 5 attended, races that are considered full gravel here, like we'll just say Unbound or whatever, how do those match up? Is it going to be a difference maker, or are those guys still going to go out there and crush?
Well,
I mean, if you've got like a Vanderpool, or if you've got like a...
If they showed up at Unbound, they would crush.
I'm not going to ever bet against Matthew Vanderpool.
Yeah.
If it's on 2 wheels, that man's going to.
He's got the chops, though, to race all disciplines.
Because he was also cyclocross, so yeah.
A lot of those guys came up racing off-road and only started racing on a road bike because they were trying to get fit. Exactly.
Well, and those Belgian guys, think about it, even if they were quote-unquote on the road, I mean, if you grew up riding cobbles, gravel would be like...
Easy.
Yeah, it would be like a break for that. You'd be like, oh, this is a smooth road.
That's a good question. I mean, like Unbound, that's a little bit of a unique race because it's 200 friggin' miles long.
It's long for those guys. But they do that kind of stuff. I mean, like, what was the longest tour day?
It wasn't 200
miles. It wasn't 200, but it was like
140 or something like that, 140 miles.
Right, and that's in the middle of a 3-week thing, and this is like a 1-day 200. I think they'd be okay.
The thing with like Unbound...
Those guys' volume is more than anybody. I mean, like, just pure volume on the bike is insane.
But like this year at Unbound, like it poured rain in the last hour and a half, and that changed course conditions terribly.
Yeah.
Like guys were running some of the sections because they were unrideable.
This is where the Italians would be terrible, but the Belgians would win. Right. The Belgians would. If it rained,
it was a Belgian who won Unbound this year.
Here's another question for you. Do you think a lot of those guys, if they didn't have Big Sugar or whatever that's called coming up, do you think they would have gone to try and do that? Or do you think that they're looking at it as like no, you guys are kind of screwing up our scene. We don't really want to be doing anything that's UCI related.
I think it's that.
Yeah.
I don't think... I think there's a big feeling like we don't want the UCI to screw with gravel. And I mean, really the epicenter of gravel is the United States right now, and Europe, and the UCI is like trying to jump on that. And so, okay, this was a big thing that they pulled off this World Championships, and they pulled all these big names who showed up at it. I didn't expect all these big names to show up at it, and all these people showed up. But
here's what I think they need to do. UCI needs to do something like this, similar quality, very good field. They could call it Worlds, whatever. If they did that in the US, I think that would be like, it would be like, hey, we're going to go play in your playground.
Right.
And and I think that would be very interesting because there'd be so much pressure on all those like riders. Like they're racing here. They're doing the Lifetime Tour or whatever it is. This is in your backyard. This is a big race, and you're not even showing up.
I wonder if, I'm sure they're paying attention to how popular these races have been in the United States.
Yep.
And how many people are paying attention to them.
The UCI is going to move into this. They're going to.
They are.
Yeah.
So the question is, when they move in, will they improve it or will they mess it up? And we don't know that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them try and partner up with these guys somehow, some way. Just at least like invite them to the table to have that discussion and give them some autonomy to like help shape or guide how the events will look and feel.
They're going to pretend to do that.
I think
we really want your input.
Telling you about your sock length height.
But North American gravel's done an awesome job at bringing in, put the pros aside, just bringing in people that want. So I hope that UCI does not touch that. I hope that stays there. But, and this might just be my coming from the triathlon world, if you're a pro and you I don't know, I kind of roll my eyes at the whole we don't want the UCI coming in and ruining this. No, you don't want the competition level to go through the roof to where you're not winning now. So that's where, because I see this from the U.S. triathletes. Every once in a while, they're like, I don't like to go to Europe because, it's different racing. Like, no, it's because you're not as good as them. So it's different when it's like, I'm a Cat 4 guy who's a 40-plus Masters who loves these gravel races because they're awesome and unique. It's like, that's awesome. Yeah. But if you're not going and doing these races with the UCI because you're a pro and you don't want to now not be in competition for the win, sorry, that's how it is.
There's probably some of that there too. I mean, it could be just a smorgasbord of a lot of things going on. So
the TV coverage of it was terrible. It was on Flow Sports.
Yeah, how do you make that better?
So what they did on Flow Sports, it was funny because I watched it yesterday to see how it all shook out.
Yeah.
And it was roughly 2 hours of footage for a 5-hour race. So 2 hours of footage for a 5-hour race where they skipped the boring parts.
That's not nearly enough. You need at least 8.
And there was no commentary. It
No.
was.
Oh.
Are you serious?
I don't know. I don't know why Flow Sports
Did the guy
did
not
that.
get?
I don't know. It was just
Was he
like
on mute?
all they did was it was the
that's
motorcycle
terrible.
following
With just
the
the dust in the
leaders,
air.
and then they would show. It was interesting to see some stuff, but it wasn't very good. The women's race ended up being won by Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, which is amazing because it was her 4th World Championship of the year.
Oh, what's her list? What has she won?
She won mountain bike short track,
Oh, she's
mountain
a
bike
mountain biker.
cross
Gotcha.
country, mountain bike marathon, and the gravel. She won all 4 of those races, world
I
championships.
think her skill set is off road.
Oh my gosh.
Was she a cyclocross racer too, or
I
just,
think she
just
does,
came from mountain bike?
She does mostly mountain bike. She doesn't do
She
much
could do, I'm
cyclocross.
sure, whatever she
Yeah.
wants, but yeah.
But she's found her niche in mountain bikes. So
And what was something intriguing about her win to you, Lance?
she was on a BMC Caius, the brand new BMC gravel race bike.
That's why she won.
So
We just had one come into the lab last week, and it was here for about 24 hours before
Before she bought it. No,
yeah,
I'm joking.
gone.
before it was picked up, and I got a chance to ride it around the block. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Does it rides more like a road bike, right? Is that the story on that one?
The geometry feels a little bit more akin to a team machine, so it is going to
Yeah,
feel a little bit more
yeah.
like that. It obviously can house a much bigger tire. I
Right,
think up to
yeah.
a 45 mil tire, if I'm not mistaken.
I could see that being a neat bike to be like, yeah, I use this for like road biking, and then
You very well
you
could.
could just switch out the
100%.
tires.
Yeah.
Switch out
and
the
then-
tires.
Could you
Like-
literally use it for anything?
You
Almost.
probably
Yeah.
could. It doesn't
Yeah.
have the MTT in there, that micro travel technology
Yeah.
that you see in the BMC oars. It's more of a rigid frame, and it's going to be built for compliancy for riding off road. But it felt really good.
Yeah.
The one thing that kind of made me scratch my head, I'm like, I don't think I would want this. Before I got on the bike, was looking at the bars. The bar width on those 37
Really
centimeters, super narrow,
That's
and the
impressive.
flare was down to a 42. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this.
That's awkward.
It's
Yeah.
super narrow. Went out there and rode it. Didn't even think about it. I'm like, that's really weird. Even with me and my janky shoulders, not
Yeah.
a big deal. And then Mike, the person who purchased the bike, followed up with me. Hey, how was the first ride? How did it feel? And he's more broad-shouldered than I am. And I'm like, how was the bar width? He's like, you know what? That was something that I was concerned about. And he's like, I did a bunch of research, and a bunch of people were saying that wasn't going to be an issue. He's like, I went out and rode it and kind of got after it a little bit. He's like, it was a non-issue. He's like, I didn't even think about it once. The bike was
awesome.
a rocket ship, rode like a dream. Fantastic
Gonna
bike.
be-
Seems
Gonna
like a
be
good
narrow.
race choice.
It's a
Great
fantastic
arrow
race
with
choice.
That narrow setup in the front.
There's
yeah.
just one thing that I hate about the bike:
yeah.
the price.
Oh yeah,
It's a
right, spendy.
$12,000
It's
bike.
expensive.
Yeah,
It's super pricey, but it's a beautiful bike.
I'm surprised they don't have like different tiers of that one.
They do. That's the Cayuse
11,000
011, and I think it
10,000.
goes. I think there's
It goes up from there.
I think there's something like a $9,000 or $8,500 option, and then a $6,000 option. So there's just
Six is who I could be talking to at 6 option.
yeah. So those are the three bikes. They're spec'd a little bit differently, obviously, but
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's going to be an intriguing bike to ride.
Greg Van Avermaet was also riding the BMC Caius.
Yep.
He was also on the same race bike.
Yeah, there was a few people in the men's race and women's race that were riding those bikes. So
You need a new bike, Jake.
yeah,
Sell off your Urs.
my wife listens to this. Shh.
We also
Christmas list. Put it under the tree.
Yeah,
Put it
it's
under
almost
the tree.
Christmas. There
We
you
also
go.
had the very first cyclocross World Cup of the season.
yeah.
That happened at Waterloo, Wisconsin, at the Trek
Oh,
Factory.
yeah, the Trek race, yeah.
So,
Oh, really? Wow.
kind of fun. There was a C1, like a sub-tier pro race on Friday, and then the World Cup race on Sunday. And in the women's race on Friday, Clara Hansinger went out and won it, going away.
That
Like
kind of
she
doesn't
knew-
surprise me, actually. I mean,
As
she
she
is like
does.
the real deal. She's like big time. Like, we should not be surprised if she wins a race in
Does
Europe. I mean, she can.
On
She's at that level now.
Sunday, it was very dry, no rain, no mud, and she ended up 7th, I think, because
the
all
World Cup race?
Yeah, in the world.
Nice.
Yeah, so like all like
That's
world
huge still, yeah.
championships,
Yeah.
the
The
world
Belgians.
champion,
Yeah.
and all the other people
but
there.
still, I mean, top 10. She's
Yeah.
She was 7th.
She's in the conversation there.
She did great. That race was won by Van Empel, I believe, who's from Belgium. The men were won by I think
A Belgian.
it was Ellie Easterbeat. Yeah.
A Dutch?
I think he's Belgian.
Okay.
Or Dutch.
It's Dutch or Belgian. That is the only. There aren't other people that win those races.
And then I think Lawrence Week, who's also
this
Dutch
is the equivalent
or
of
Belgian.
like cross country skiing. It's like who won? Probably a Norwegian. Okay, that's
Pretty crazy.
So yeah, you have 2 countries. That is it.
So those races happened as well. So there's lots of racing, and that's all the racing. Let's move on to
No
the topic.
triathlon racing.
This was
he and I haven't talked about
the Ghana
racing.
hour record was the only thing that I kept basically track of in the cycling world. And I knew I was missing things in the cycling world, but that's because there were way more important things going on. One specific thing on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Okay, so my
Let's hear your take.
my take.
Give me your hot take. Let's go.
Okay, this is amazing that this woman from, where is she from? Davis, California. I don't even remember her name.
Chelsea Sodaro.
Chelsea Sodaro. She was off everybody's radar for the most part. She wasn't really talked about. She's only done one Ironman race previously ever, which she didn't even win. She
Let the
took
record show
second
that I was talking about her. I just want everybody to remember that.
You were
from
talking
this
about her
podcast.
mid-race.
Top 5. No, I said she was going to be top 5.
We have to go back and play the tape.
Yeah, actually,
Put
please
her in
do.
the top 5.
Please do, because I think in my head I chose her in the top 5. But if that happened in reality, I don't care.
what happened to Daniela Reef? Hey, Ian.
She did not have a good day.
So she biked well, but then she fell apart.
I think she okay, so she's always going to bike well. She was with people for longer than I thought she was going to be. So she really did not move through the field as quickly as I thought she was going to, and had to make
you
a
and I
move
both said
very
like
late.
she didn't look good.
And then she just kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
We were on the bike. She was on the
As soon
bike
as the
and she
run
was
started, you knew it was not going to be good.
She was on the bike and
Okay.
she did well on the bike. It's just that we were both like, she doesn't. And you said something along the lines of, she looks. This is going to be like 2019 when she got 13th, and she didn't look quite right. But then she moved forward and she ended up finishing the bike.
She finished
in
gritty.
first.
She finished very gritty still.
But then was passed almost immediately.
Almost immediately passed on the run.
Lucy looked smooth.
So I watched part of this, and this was my take watching this.
Okay.
Okay, who is this American? I've never heard of her before. What drug is she taking? Because I don't even know.
Mommy juice.
Yes.
So yeah,
She
and
just had a
apparently
child,
she's got an 18-month-old child.
Yep.
But she was a former professional runner.
That's where her run speed. And she was not just a former. She was on the Olympic side. So she was.
And she ran a 2:51 marathon.
Very fast runner.
That's ridiculous. Fast.
It's not the
She
course
was
record.
seconds off of Miranda Carfrey. Seconds. And she's going to just get faster and faster because
How old is
she's
she?
only been. She's like 30, I want to say.
I don't know. But what's interesting
She's
is
only been racing since like 2018.
when she was doing this close to course record, did you see how much she was stopping? Yeah. Like if she wanted that course record, it was hers.
Yeah.
She was just like, I got to be safe. I got to be safe. That was like a safety run.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she was taking her time at the last few aid stations.
It was
to
like
make
she was
sure
like
she didn't just
mile to go, and she just like stopped at an aid station. Tell me about your
Poured water
family.
overhead.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, she was taking her time out there.
She won by like 8 minutes,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and that it might. I don't know if it was 4 or 8, but like it was still. I mean, it was at the point where she was hearing time checks, and she knew she had won it as long as she didn't have any sort of major cramping, whatever problem. And so that's why she was just taking her time at those aid stations, or at least that's the way it appeared to me.
And the women's and men's race had a very similar second and third place situation where Lucy Charles, through that whole back end of the half marathon to finish, is getting run down by Annie Hogg, who prior to Chelsea Sodaro winning this race was the best runner. And is just built for Kona. She's tiny. She dissipates heat very well and runs like a freaking machine.
She knows how to do it.
Annie Hogg is a machine. Like
Sodaro doesn't look like a runner.
No, she's kind of tall.
Her form doesn't look unbelievable.
But 251. I mean, I'm gonna shut up now.
But also, I think her PR 5K is like 15 flat or something like that. So she flies on the track. She's built like a track. I mean, she runs very well. Nobody looks that good running an Ironman, in my opinion, though. So it's like
no, exactly.
Like
That's what I'm
12,
like.
13.
It's like
I mean, as Lance knows, it's like by mile 14, somebody's like, "Hey, man, watch your form." You're like, "I'm trying to move right now." Okay.
Shut up! I can't even walk anymore.
You're like, I can't even grab this water bottle right now. I'm that tired. Like,
I'm I'm gonna walk until I start to pass out, and then I'm gonna sit down.
I just wet myself again. But thanks for telling me to keep my arm positions.
Your right heel, it's flicking a little bit. Fix that. You're like, okay.
Oh yeah. I just pooped my pants, but I'll make sure that
I'll
make sure my form comes together.
My right arm's not swaying out.
You guys kind of rode off Lucy Charles saying that this wasn't going to be.
We did.
I completely rode her off.
We both did. That was a
and I think a
mistake.
lot of. I think a lot of people
again for the fourth time.
It's not that we were. I think that everybody who was talking about it, it was she was even a little bit surprised because she was pumped for second place. She wasn't sure if she could make that full run. She's just coming back from an injury.
She said like my goal is like I've already like made it to the starting line. I'm pumped. I got here.
Yeah.
And then
she
got in the race and she's gonna get out of the water first. Like that's just the way it is. And she just did.
She biked brave. She biked
ran
brave
well
all day and then ran. And as she's getting run down by Annie Hogg, I even at that point, for whatever reason, I had this instinct where I was like, I don't think Lucy's going to get caught today. I was like, she's looked great all day. She's like mentally in a good spot right now. And is she, you know what? She's going to come back next year. And yes, Sodaro now is like the one to beat on the island because that she shows she can run. But Lucy's going to come back fit next year.
So here's a question. Is Sodaro just going to be a flash in the pan?
That's the question. I think that's the question.
That happens. I mean, she's got an 18-month-old baby. Does she want to be a mom for a couple years?
Life's going to change. Definitely.
So
she was even mentioned that she's like, I mean, the amount of stress on just her and the family to win at that level is huge. So
she's already figured out how to do it once to be a mom and a triathlete.
That's true.
Yeah.
And husband's a firefighter, I think.
Yep.
Dad, mom,
parents help.
That family's an awesome story. Yeah. That's like
just out of curiosity,
what a good American
what
story.
kind of a paycheck is going to come along with this? I mean, you know, like Olympic athletes will go and they'll win a gold medal. That's worth nothing, but they'll be millionaires after that because of all the different things.
This is so even more.
You've got to ride that wave. I mean, you've obviously figured out how to be a mom to your child still during. If she's 18 months old, you know that this was a year-long build-up. So from 6 months to 18 months, she figured it out, right?
She did.
If she's got some help now and she's got some resources.
The tougher part for Chelsea, she has a really extensive injury history. And this is not me trying to be the pessimistic one, because I would, if Chelsea Sodaro won the next 6 Konas, that'd be freaking awesome. That would be so cool.
Here's my thing. That's the way it looks. If you look historically at these athletes that come out of, I'm not saying they just came out of nowhere.
Pete Jacobs is the one I'm thinking of.
Pete Jacobs is is the big one. He's not adding to my argument here, but like I'm thinking of Christy Wellington. Like comes out rookie, wins,
never mind. You're going
and then she's just like and then she wins for the next. Whatever until she decides to stop.
She won until she's like, I'm finished.
Yeah.
I'm out. And she like disappeared off the planet.
And then she stopped. Then Miranda Carver is like, now my turn. I'm going to win a bunch. And then Danielle Reef is like, okay, now I'm going to win a bunch. So it does seem to be a dominance thing.
Well, and Danielle Reef was that way too, where I'm like, she comes out, wins. She didn't win her first one, but she was like, she looked close. So good. And I was like, that girl that is, wearing a backpack and like, got a regular helmet on. She's riding like a mountain bike and she gets second. I'm like, she's probably going to win this thing next year once she figures out how to do triathlon. Right. And it was like, no problem. Then she dominated for a while.
Well, that's the scary thing for everybody with Sodaro is she's really only just started long course. She was doing short course for a while.
Yeah. I don't know if she's a Christy Wellington. I don't get that vibe from her or Daniela Reef type person. So I kind of agree with Evan that she may not be a flash in the pan, but
Lucy's going to win one of these at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
At some point. She's gotten 4 second place.
Kiss of death.
She's never
You just said it, Evan, so she's never winning it.
She's never not going to be...
I'm going to go and play her back all 4 or 5 years that we've been doing this to tape and say, this is why you cannot win. You need to take out Evan Price.
I think that Daniela Reif is not done yet. She just has these ups and downs. She's on.
She does.
I think that...
she'll be back for
I think Lucy... I wouldn't say that she's like guaranteed to win, but she looked good, like basically COVID year, right? When there was no way, there was no spot for her to win, except for there was like a 70.3 that she won.
Let's talk about what matters most here, real quick.
Yeah.
Besides Chrissy Wellington, who did you legit pick?
Me?
Yeah.
Annie Haug.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good pick.
I picked Danielle Reef.
Who'd you pick?
Danielle Reef, yeah.
I picked Annie Haug, too.
Hey,
There you go.
And we beat you.
We beat you guys. That's all I have to say.
You guys were the... Well, where'd you put Lucy?
It doesn't matter. It's just your top pick. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Who did you guys pick on the
point system?
Who did you pick on the guys' side?
Listen, none of us had Sodaro.
I'm the only one who picked Sodaro to be in the top 5, so I feel like that should count for something.
We need to play that tape because I don't think you did.
I picked her to win.
I'll go back and listen, and
I'm trying to
if it's
remember.
there, we'll have that.
Pretty
They'll
sure I
drop.
picked her to win.
You'll win a sticker.
I think I picked her to
swim,
win.
bike, run,
I think.
rinse, repeat sticker.
To go with
Okay,
my shirt.
we're going to move to the men because we can talk all day. So we're going to move to the men.
Yeah.
I think the biggest stories from the men were the conditions were ideal.
Yeah, they were.
There was no wind and it wasn't too hot. And so
they
it
were
made
good
for a
conditions.
very fast day.
It was hot.
Well, it's 85. It's the island, but it wasn't 95.
No, but it got the 92 at one point.
I think it's
So it
probably
was-
hot on the run, perfect on the bike is kind of the way I would think
that's
about
kinda
it.
how
No
it
wind
played
on the
out.
bike,
No wind
which
on the
is
bike.
really rare for the island.
Yes.
which is really fortunate.
But that was also the year that Cam Wharf set that bike record. It was very similar conditions.
Was it?
2018, yeah.
So I think that's the
you
big
kind of
story.
have to for a fast bike. Dad.
The next big story was freaking 2:36 marathon.
So fast.
That's so
I
fast.
think honestly, for me, the story was Sam Laidlow.
Sam Laidlow was the story.
For me,
He
I was like,
made
wait,
that
what?
race.
Sam was second.
He was
Okay,
second.
so the winner was
Out
Gustav
front
Iden.
all day.
But didn't Sam set a bike record?
Yes.
I mean, I
And
didn't see
Sam
that coming.
beat Cam Wurf's bike record.
Yes, I didn't see that coming anywhere.
Also, news: Ineos Grenadiers just offered a $5 million contract to Sam Laidlow. No, I just made that up. I'm joking, but they should after watching that.
Nah,
Okay.
probably not. He just does not give me the vibe of like this guy. Like I wouldn't pick him. I just wouldn't like if he was racing Cam Wurf in any bike race. I just would never pick him. I don't. It's so surprising to me that he's done so well. He's young. He's like 23.
My tone on Sam Laidlow has changed a lot.
Me
I
too.
think
I like
after
him.
getting to know his backstory a bit, not that I kind of roll my eyes now at Sam Long's response to him, but
What did
that
Sam Long
seemed
say?
very played up. I'm talking about the PTO stuff where they like went back and forth a little bit, Laidlow and Sam Long.
I don't know anything about it.
Long story, anyway.
Okay.
But
What?
Sam Long story.
Sam Laidlow talked a little bit of trash. Sam Long took it personally. Just long story, but yeah.
But Sam Long isn't even doing Ironman distance races.
Well, he is, but he wasn't in Kona.
No, he
so,
wasn't in
yeah,
Kona.
Laidlow was in Kona and controlled the race.
What
Yeah.
happened to Lionel Sanders?
I have no idea.
Okay,
Did he
so
finish?
He swam. Okay.
He
I
did.
looked. Here, I looked
He
at
was
his
like
splits.
27th, 28th.
Okay.
He
So
swam
he-
52, which is good for him.
He swam
biked
fine.
He biked okay. I think his bike was.
But the problem with the bike was he came out with a group at 52. So there were only two groups in the swim, basically. There was this group that swam 48 and the group that swam 52. And that was it. There were two groups. Lionel came out in the 52 group, which is great. Like, he's like, cool, 4 minutes back. This is a dream for him.
is where I'm
He's been
at,
like
should be.
8 minutes back in the past. But he let Cam Wurf and Joe Skipper go. And they drug like 15 guys. And Lionel, I don't know what he was thinking. If he was just like, I'm going to race my own race today, which sounds good in theory until the entire bike pack is up the road now.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I stayed within my limited wattage amounts. Cool. But now the race is gone. Like, the race is up the road.
I think he was hurting. I think he was
so?
hurting. I mean,
We're going to find out. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll probably have like a coach change and he's got a big
Bike
plan,
change.
big plans to change, make
Run shoes.
everything.
Where was Christian
New goggles.
Blumenfeld? Because he was my pick.
So
Third.
great.
He was third.
He
Okay.
got okay. So
He was
benefits
my
for
pick
him.
too, so.
Benefits for him was he got out with the front swim pack.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
do not
right.
want that guy to get out with the front swim pack.
He's too fast of a bike.
He's too fast of a runner.
Well, that's
I mean,
too fast.
that's why Sam Laidlow put down so much on the start of the
Yeah.
bike. Is he said in his interview, he was like, I looked back because Sam Laidlow is such a good swimmer. He did some backstroking in the middle of the race to check
he
where
really?
everybody was. And he said he looked back
gosh.
and saw the golden sleeve of Christian on his feet, and he was like, dang it, it's over. Like
Race over.
Literally in his head, he was like, well, it's done. Like
He's still on
like-
me.
He's like, well, I didn't drop him, so this is done.
What I thought was telling was when it was about 90 miles into the race and he put this massive surge in on the bike and it was like, 90 miles into the bike and he put that massive surge in.
I thought
and he
that
put
was-
the hurt on the Norwegians. He
I thought
dropped them.
that was Laidlow.
put 4 minutes into him.
I thought that was Laidlow saying, I know I'm going to lose this. I just
too.
want to bike fast.
Me too.
But this is why I think he was the story of the day is he throws in that surge, jumps off the bike, and all of a sudden is just running 6:10 pace. And then you're checking it at miles 6, 7, 8.
just
He's still
kept
running that pace.
doing it.
Where's Laidlaw from?
France.
France? Yeah.
French kid.
But I'm like, he's French, but I like him.
I know. I know.
That's where I'm at.
he's so-
That's where I'm at.
Okay.
He's like
fair.
Alaphilippe. He's like Alaphilippe. He's like, why do I like this guy?
I mean,
Smiles and laughs and
he's just like
jerk.
He's like I've been working on triathlon since I was 4 years old, and my dreams finally came true. And you're just like, yes, I love you. Like he's just but he was like that last year too.
He has.
He was like, this is my first time in
coolest-
Kona, and I'm living my dream.
So
you
there's
just
a-
like him.
There's a story around a ring that he wears. So I don't know the whole story, and I'm not going to tell it all until I actually know
Until we
what's
know
what's
what we're
what's
talking
going
about,
on.
which is never.
I am not sure. I believe his mother passed when he was younger. His dad has been his coach his entire life. His dad also like took out multiple loans to allow him to do it. Not a wealthy family at all.
Wow.
Very lower middle class French family.
Did not know that.
This kid has been training as a triathlete since he was 5 years old. Training since he was 5. They melted down his mom's jewelry into a ring that he wore. He wears while he's racing. And it has inscribed on it because he's watched Kona every year with his dad. And his dad said, you're going to go to Kona one day. He inscribed the like latitude, longitude of the start of Kona on this ring. I believe his mother's passed. This is her melted down jewelry. This is
crazy.
So when you watch the finish, he like kisses that ring and like points, and it's like this real emotional like moment. You see that guy go from like stone cold to like real emotional real quick.
Cool. I think he was pretty pumped last year.
I'm cheering for this guy to win Kona every year. And I love the Norwegians. I love watching Eden win.
Yeah.
Eden's like the most fun guy in the sport, but I want to see Sam Laidlow win this race from the front one day. Just lead all day. And win.
Okay. He picked an unfortunate time in the world of triathlon to come to the front because the Norwegians just dominate.
I mean, Sam just he just beat Jan Frodeno's course record by like 5 minutes and lost.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine if you told Sam Laidlow, hey, tomorrow you're going to beat Jan Frodeno's record by like minutes? Be like, oh, I got it in the bag. I just won. It's like, nope, sorry. You got 2 Norwegians chasing you down, and one of them ran 2:36 on this course.
All right, so let's go back to this one. Who did you guys pick again? Want to remind everybody?
Me and Lance were wrong.
I picked Eden to win.
That was
and
right.
I picked Blumenfeld to get second, and for third, Lionel Sanders. Kind of missed out on that one, but I mean,
that's okay because I picked Braden Curry to be somewhere in there, and
what
he
happened
didn't
to him?
finish.
Wait, who'd you pick to win? Christian?
Braden Curry got second. I picked Christian. Yeah.
So did I. Who did you pick?
Eden.
Yeah, you picked Eden.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jake. I let you down.
So the only constant here is that I got nothing right, except for Sidaro.
Wait,
that we have to go back to the tapes for to verify.
We don't. We didn't even have to go back and verify.
No.
We just know.
I had Joe Skipper in my top 5 too.
Did you pick him?
So
I think you're right.
I think I win.
Oh, I put
off of my point system I just came up with.
if you get your 5th place people in that podium,
I think it goes reverse order. So I got 5 points for 5th place. Yeah.
I think I put Bekkegaard in my top 5.
Yeah, he also had a terrible
maybe
day.
Ditlev. I might have put him in my top 5.
Ditlev had a good day, but he got a penalty.
Yeah,
which was a dumb penalty.
Do you see what happens, Jake? Look at what I even came in today saying I'm not.
To accomplish
Lance, they took over again.
It took over.
The triathlon takeover.
I didn't want to talk about triathlon all thing, and we still talk.
We should save whatever topic we've got. We should just save for next week.
Yeah,
I think you're probably right.
I knew that when I came here in the middle, my plan was to just dive bomb the podcast straight into a talk about Sam Laidlow.
I couldn't do it by myself. Sam Laidlow podcast.
I need to ask if Sam Laidlow can come on the podcast. I would love to interview that kid.
He would be fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, we're an hour into this thing. We good with the backpedaling?
Yeah. Are we done with the backpedal?
Not backpedal. I'm sorry.
We're done.
Lead out news.
We're done with lead out news. We should probably just call it.
We should wrap it because you guys have meetings.
Anything else you guys want to talk about that's not triathlon related?
Yeah, I mean,
Bueller.
There's a lot more triathlon news
Filippo
to talk about.
Ogana's arrow position.
Oh man,
let's make this the most niche podcast.
Just his cockpit alone, if I'm not mistaken, was something like
$8,000
custom,
all 3D printed.
3D print, yeah.
But did you hear the rule for it to be a record? All of that everything on him has to be commercially available.
Oh,
so they'll just sell it.
So you can buy that.
That's
bike.
why it's $50,000.
No lie. You can go and buy that Pinarello bike. Now I have no clue what the price tag is on that.
We talked about this, but the collective bike was about $50,000.
Yeah, $50,000.
You can buy that.
Okay, over under 5 people in the world who buy that bike.
Oh, way over.
You think so?
Really?
Yeah, there's so many people out there they've got problems,
Yeah.
money problems, too much of it. Yeah, they'll just buy something just to put up on the wall.
They'll never ride it. They'll never ride in a million days.
The bike shops in downtown San Francisco would put their most blingy, most expensive bike up in the window because they knew if Robin Williams walked by, he'd walk in and buy it.
That's smart.
Regardless.
Also, I love that Robin Williams loves cycling that much. It's great.
Yeah.
When they went into his garage, he had over 100 bikes in his garage.
So awesome. That's the best obsession ever.
They auctioned them all off for like Livestrong or something.
Yeah.
Something that was good.
We need some more Robin Williams.
We do. We
Good dude.
need more guys like that just love the Tour de France for whatever reason. That's just great.
All right. Well, we were talking about doing a little bit of a hot seat here. Is there a question that either?
A super spicy 5-minute question.
Yeah, we can just do a one.
Do you guys have time? Don't you have a meeting right now? You're 7 minutes late.
We got a few minutes for. We blocked out an hour. I don't think it's going to take an hour to do.
We got 3 to 4 minutes. Second section of hot seat here. Go, Matt.
Matt, did you have a question that was bouncing around your head?
No, but it doesn't matter.
Go ahead, throw one out there for us.
New Wahoo Roam. Is that something you guys are interested in? You guys all ride Wahoo. I'm the only one that I don't know what I ride, but you guys all ride Wahoo computers.
Yes.
Roam, you're interested in it? You gonna pick one up?
I'm not going to pick one up because I have the Bolt V2, and all the good software updates that are coming with the Roam are also going to be available on the Roam V or on the Bolt.
The bigger screen, the extra battery life, that doesn't doesn't tickle your fancy.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't need any extra weight.
Tickle your fancy.
It does not. I don't want to ride for more than 5 hours anyway.
I'm with Lance. I'm not going to
So-
ride for more than 5 hours, so I'm not going to need that.
It's a 17-hour battery life.
Cool.
Yeah, 17.
Yeah.
I don't ever ride longer than 6 hours.
Jake, would you pick one up? Would you?
I don't know. I don't see anything that differentiates it from the Bolt, and I like the size of the Bolt. I don't dislike the size of the Roam. I just don't need a computer that's that big. It's going to be a little bit heavier. At the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. I've already got 15 other things strapped to my bike as it is when I go out for a bike ride, but I don't think I need it.
I tell you, if I was riding with a Roam right now and I didn't want to go to a Bolt, I would absolutely upgrade to the new version of the Roam. I would get the new one. If I liked that size of computer, I would go to it because
you've had the old Roam, like you've had all of these computers, sort of.
It got retired to my wife because her eyes aren't good and she can see the bigger screen.
That's my only thing with it too. Is I mean my eyes are rough, so the bigger screen would be a little bit better, but I can see when you're riding hard, I only really want 2 data screens. It's power time.
You don't care. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
if you look at Jake's computer, he's got 10 up. I can't read anything on his computer.
I really couldn't read any. Yeah, I couldn't read any of that.
The other thing is, I think if you are navigating on the bike computer, if you're really doing a lot of navigation stuff, having the extra screen real estate is going to give you a little bit more detail.
Yeah, that is nice.
I have a sneaking suspicion they've got some stuff up their sleeve in terms of some software things that we'll see roll out. I haven't heard of anything yet. I don't know of anything yet. I just have this gut feeling that they're going to have to come up with a way to differentiate. And I'm thinking that there's going to be some stuff that's going to come out that's going to be native to just that particular unit that might want to drive people to go to.
I disagree with you.
Disagree with me,
yes.
Huh?
So do I.
Here's the thing.
I don't know.
Here's the thing.
Disagreeing with that.
For those guys, when you're writing software, it's so much easier to write one block of software that applies to 2 devices, right? And so from a pure development standpoint, it just makes more sense to be like, are we writing software for 2 different devices? You need like 2 teams of developers.
Sure.
Versus like, we're writing the software for one device now, and the software works on all these other devices. My guess is that's going to be easier for those guys. So that stuff, like all this stuff is actually still being worked on. It's not even out yet. So they have this hill climbing feature.
Yes.
Doesn't exist yet.
Summit, yeah.
And then they have a new feature. We need that. Like, it's overdue.
It's overdue
by a lot.
for Wahoo.
By years.
Yes.
We need it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are not worried about it. Everyone else wants it.
Everybody who's
needs
ridden
it.
a Garmin and has Climb Pro on it, or
I've never
Hammerhead that has their
experienced
climber feature.
Yeah.
You miss that piece.
Here's the thing is
it that fun?
It's a nice feature to have.
For pacing purposes,
There's
it's
just
fantastic.
the Strava segment stuff you can pull up, right?
Well,
no,
there is Strava
it tells
segments.
you exactly. I'm on a route.
Okay.
This climb I'm on is 1.34 miles long.
that is nice.
And then it'll
You
be like,
have-
you're on an 18% grade right now, and then up here it's a 10% grade, and then next it's an 18% grade. It shows you all the details.
and it counts down how much
That's cool.
distance you have, so you know how long the climb is.
And then here's the thing that I think, it's not like we need this feature. Wahoo needs this feature because everyone else has it, and they're the
what are they gonna
odd
call
duck.
it? Climb Pro and
Summit.
Climbers are
Segments.
There you
Summit
go.
Okay, and
segments.
here's one more
right?
thing that you guys didn't talk about. If you're doing a route or a race, you can upload that in there, and it'll say you're on climb number 1 of 11.
Yes.
So you
Yeah,
just
that's true.
it goes to
That's
help
cool.
you pace. So like you get to each climb, you have a really good idea of how it's going to pan out
But
and
then
how hard you need
what
to
am
go.
I going to write on my top tube though? Because as we all know, that's what all the pros do is they put in that little piece of paper and they just write on their top tube. And
The other feature that is new that they're still not out with yet is this feature where you can actually show up with your riding buddies and distribute a route from computer to computer,
Yes.
which actually, I don't remember what they're calling that either. But that's pretty cool.
Share it right to your computer.
Yeah.
David would like that because I just have to ask him where we're going every single time. So yeah.
It's a nice feature.
And again, that's another. All those features are coming to the Bolt.
I haven't had a
V2.
chance to-
I don't know about Bolt V1. I just don't know.
I haven't had a chance to compare the V2 to the Roam 2. Is the processor different? Does it have more computing power? No, it's about the same.
Processor looks.
It has more memory. It has 64 gigabytes of memory.
So you're
more
paying
memory.
for a bigger screen, more memory, and more battery life, and that's $100 more.
Is it $100 more?
Yeah, because it goes from $300 to $400.
I feel like $100 isn't that much.
That's
of an
right,
increase,
because the Bolt price
I don't
went
know.
up.
Yep.
Yeah, $100 difference.
So if that is worth $100 to you,
That's not a crazy increase, right?
or if you're on the old one, I think
300
it's
to 400.
I think it's a worthy
Yeah,
upgrade.
that's true, that's 25%,
Worthy upgrade
yeah.
to go from the version 1 to the version 2, probably.
I think that's where you're. Here's what I think the line will be. It'll be people that are doing like kind of the adventure biking kind of stuff, or kind of like overnighter stuff, and they're like, we need the battery,
Correct,
and we need
bike
bigger bike packing. Thank you.
Yep.
And we need the bigger display because we need directions.
Correct.
Like that's like choose the Roam every day.
Yes.
I think everyone else, like the Bolt, does everything that the Roam does.
Yeah.
And maybe if your eyesight is off or something like that, that makes sense. But that's probably my take on it. I guess I haven't really come to a conclusion yet. That's why I wanted to ask you guys. And it's why I wanted to ask you guys for a quick, short 2-minute question.
We potentially have a very
can't do that.
big wig from Wahoo coming on the podcast in the near future, and so we can ask him all these questions.
Yeah.
So
okay.
That will happen.
Spoiler. Let's do it.
I didn't even know that.
Stay tuned. This is actually going to be, it's a big get for us. So I'm excited about that.
That'll be fun.
So we shouldn't trash talk Wahoo. Wahoo's great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of
we
Wahoo.
speak truth. You just speak truth. That's what you do.
I like my Bolt. I think it's great. But I'm also not somebody who analyzes their bike computer too heavily.
No,
so
you're happy. You'll be happy with anything.
I also thought the Cat Eye was just fine, but
Yeah.
then we need, the Cat Eye just died off at some point. So do they still make that?
Oh, yeah.
They do?
Oh, yeah. Top seller.
Nice. Is it? Are you being sarcastic right
It's
now?
'cause it's like
I can't tell if he's
$28.
serious. I know. It's
Yeah, I
great.
know, right?
I know anybody's like, I can't afford a computer. I was like, oh, you can.
Great.
I have one for you.
Those things have great contrast, too. You can see them,
That
anyway.
odometer's excellent.
Yeah.
Very consistent.
They don't have
odometer.
GPS, is what they don't have.
Never needs a
So you-
link.
Oh.
So you have to have.
We're on the clock here.
Okay.
I think we're just about done with this.
We are
segment.
horrible at being on a clock.
There's no clock.
All right. That was
Okay,
a hot
we're
seat question.
we're done. We're done. That was a great question. I like that. That was a good one. So we will come back with some other questions. We've got some cool topics coming up, I think. So
I think so.
Kind of excited about that, and some guests that are coming on. Let's do one last thing, Matt Legrand. You're always good at going first.
Okay.
I have a video.
I've got a video.
You don't say.
I posted about the Apple Series 8, I think last, and why I returned it. I've got the Apple Watch Ultra on my wrist today, and that's probably going to be a little while unless I do an unboxing video, which I might.
It makes your wrist look too small.
My wrist
It's
looks
too
so
big.
small.
It's too big.
Both these watches
Look
are massive.
at that. That looks ridiculous.
I like that Apple Ultra.
You like
I
that
know.
look?
It's nice.
Don't?
But I think
No, it
I'm
looks
going to do a
terrible.
different bike computer, the Trim 1 Lite bike computer. I think that
You've
video is
talked
going to come
about this for a
out
while.
first.
Yep.
So I'll do that video bike computer, and then maybe the Wahoo Roam bike computer review, and then quite a few videos on the Ultra, Garmin Endurance 2, a whole bunch of videos coming up.
Wow.
You better subscribe. You better. You better.
Click the dingy bell
Be notified.
for notifications when a new video
The
comes out.
dingy bell.
Evan Price, one last thing.
I have like nothing.
Ding.
You got nothing coming up?
No.
Do you have some weekends when you're home? You're not going anywhere?
Yes.
Cool.
My little brother's coming into town this next weekend, so I won't even
Oh,
be training as much
nice.
as I usually do, but
Good.
it'll be fun.
You could use a break.
We're going a little
I know.
hike.
You're not going to trust us, but
No, that's
maybe
okay.
some hiking. That'll be good.
I will be coached as is starting of not this Monday today, as of next Monday.
That is
so
big news.
yeah, the entire wheel is going to be just revamped.
We need to
joking. No,
test
not at all.
this.
It's going to be very
We
similar.
need to test this swimming Incus device. I'll tell you about it later.
Oh, is this the swimmer correction thingy that you were talking about?
We'll see.
Nobody
I'll be a
cares.
great beta model for that.
Does it have floaters on it? Can I use it?
You're in. Yes, you're in. Beta tester. We need you. We need you.
This is how not to swim.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, we should talk about Josh's race real quick. That should be one last thing.
Here's my-
Evan's last one. One last
Josh
thing.
crushed it.
Here's my one last thing is that Josh went on to possibly one of the hardest days you can do an Ironman, which is a hot Kona Island against the best in the world. And he had a great bike and did not walk on the run at any point, which is huge because he has always crushed the bike in a good half portion of the run, but that back half of the run he's always struggled, and he's putting it together. So had a great day, like 9:30.
Yeah, like 9:30.
Scott Goodrich
got
had a good day, 11 something. I mean, it's not a PR for him by any means.
Who cares? You went to Kona.
Exactly.
Did it.
Kevin, it looked like him and Kevin finished together. Like, I'm wondering
Did they? That was cool if they did.
Well, I'm just looking at like times and times of day and things like that.
Legends of the Pacific Northwest triathlon community.
Exactly. Those two.
And then also,
and I think
Josh Monda and John Brenton had a really close race against each other, which made exciting because that's another fun rivalry in the Pacific Northwest right there.
Okay.
You know what was crazy about Josh's race, which surprised me? 550 athletes in the 40 to 44 age group. 550 athletes.
Also, I bet in the 40 to 44, if you just looked at gross amount of money spent on bicycles, I guarantee a male 40 to 44 eclipses the pro field. I bet.
The pro field.
The pro field was only like 30 people. It was only like 30
Well,
pros.
I'm saying per average, I guarantee the 40 to 44 average. Still eclipses it.
They're like, my bike doesn't cost enough yet. What can I add to this? Like, it's just the pros are
that new head wheel that came out. I bet every guy in the 40 44 they all like there are pros like I couldn't get that wheel for some reason.
I brought 4 wheels to Kona, but I need that one.
Yeah, exactly. Like Gustav Eden's even like I couldn't get the wheel. It was sold out for some reason.
All right, Lance, one last thing.
The last Trophy Cup cyclocross race of the season happened last night. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, that has been a party every single Tuesday night at PIR. It has been a blast. If you did not make it to any of those races, you've got to come next year. It is a lot of fun. So,
better, Trophy Cup or short track? Short track in its heyday.
You stumped him.
It's a pretty wash. It's kind of a wash because
404 question not found.
Yes, because at Trophy Cup it's dark. It gets dark.
Yeah.
People are racing in the dark in headlights. All the team tents are up. They have disco lights up and food, and there's music blaring in all these different tents. It is a party. They are fun to be at. So I don't know.
I still haven't gone to one of those. Maybe I need to go out there and watch you guys.
Yeah, so that will happen Tuesday night, or it happened last Tuesday night. And then this weekend, the second race in the Cyclocross Crusade race is happening at Heron Lakes on Sunday, the 16th. Heron Lakes is down by the golf course by PIR. So it should be a lot of fun. A lot of people should be there. It is right near Portland,
racing.
So I'm racing. Yes.
You're going to do the rest of the cyclocross season or what?
No, I'm gone for half of it.
Okay.
Because,
you got bigger and better things. There's rocks. There's rocks to
There's rocks to be found.
There's rocks to hound.
Those rocks, they're not going to
hound themselves.
They're not going to hound themselves, Matt.
Those rocks
need to be hounded.
They're not just going to sit there and wait for you.
How
Rock Talk. We always bring it back to Rock Talk.
Bring it on back.
Tune in next week for Rock Talk.
Jake?
Happy Canadian Thanksgiving Day, guys.
Oh, yeah.
We will be back next week with another one of these. Have a great one, and until then, bye for now.